Vice President Harris is returning to Georgia tonight for the 6th time this year, but for the first time as the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee. Keisha Lance Bottoms joins us now from Atlanta, where, of course, the vice president is holding her rally. She served as mayor of Atlanta from 2018 to 2022 and is currently a senior advisor to the Harris campaign. Mayor, I hope you can hear me well. Ed O'Keefe gave us a very good rendition of the energy in that building. Talk to me about the energy differential between what was the Biden-Harris campaign and what is now the Harris vice presidential running mate to be named later campaign.
Well, thank you for having me. I mean, two different candidates, so two different campaigns. As you can see and hear, there is an enormous amount of energy in this building, nearly 10,000 people here, and there are more waiting outside. And so I think it really speaks to the energy that Vice President Harris has. It's bringing to this campaign. We're so glad that she's back in Georgia. I believe this is her 15th visit to Georgia since she's been vice president. As you said, her 6th this year. And in fact, in June, she came twice in 1 week. So there's a saying, when you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And she has stayed ready with Georgia on her mind. And we're so happy to have her here again.
Madam Mayor, as you know, in politics, you can have this great surge of energy, lots of people letting you know they want to volunteer and help. But the next most difficult thing for any campaign, whatever its size, is channeling those people who have volunteered to do something productive. That strikes me as a big challenge for the Harris campaign. Yes, you've got lots of people who want to do something, but you have to give them something to do, have to have the people to direct them, and the people to monitor what they're doing. Is the Harris campaign ready for that big transition?
We are absolutely ready, and what's been so great is that Vice President Harris has been able to step into a campaign that was already building up across the state of Georgia and across the country. We have offices that have been open across the state. We have a lot of volunteers, in the thousands who volunteered in just the past week alone, but also joined in our paid staff. So it's going to take a combination of things, but we also know that with every volunteer, they are speaking for a community, speaking to a community. So we are all hands on deck, and we are on our way to victory in November.
What are the counties in Georgia that you believe the Harris campaign has the most work to do in, and why?
Well, oftentimes when people think of Georgia and they think of Atlanta, you really are thinking about a metropolitan area that's close to 6 million people. We have a lot of diverse counties in the metropolitan area, but it's also going to be important for us to hit South Georgia, North Georgia, East Georgia, and West Georgia. You've got Augusta, Savannah, Columbus, Macon, and a lot of other, those are our major cities, of course, including Atlanta, but also a lot of these outerlying counties. And people across Georgia really have benefited from the Biden-Harris administration. We've seen so much money come into our state, helping with infrastructure, money going to small businesses, money going to our HBCUs and for student loan debt relief. So people have felt the energy of this administration and the work of this administration. And now during this campaign season, we have to make sure that we are reminding them what Vice President Harris has done and what she will do as president.
Madam Mayor, as you well know, the Trump campaign has put out new ads, very significant ad buys in Georgia and elsewhere, asserting that Kamala Harris, the vice president, is a radical San Francisco liberal, more radical, more dangerous than President Biden, clearly an effort to define her in ways that will drag down her poll numbers, siphon off this enthusiasm, etc. Is the campaign ready for that?
The campaign is ready, and it really is an attempt by the Trump campaign to deflect from what their agenda has been. Project 25, I know that President Trump has tried to distance himself from that, but in every single way that he governed as president and doubling down with his running mate, J.D. Vance, calling for a national abortion ban, this is impacting women who aren't just seeking to terminate a pregnancy, but women who are experiencing miscarriages. We know what happened in Alabama with the stop on IVF treatment for women who were seeking fertility treatment. And then the list goes on. They are seeking to abolish the Department of Education. That would decimate our public schools across Georgia and across this country. So for every false narrative that they try and create about the vice president, it really is an attempt to deflect from what they intend to do if they are elected. And people need to remember that it's Donald Trump who brags about the 3 Supreme Court justices who overturned Roe, taking away a woman's right to choose, a woman's right to reproductive freedom. And so we're going to continue to talk about what the vice president has done, what she will do as president, and not be distracted by the false narratives created by the Trump campaign.
Madam Mayor, very quickly, what is your sense of timing, and who would you like to see on the ticket with Vice President Harris?
I think any of the names who've been mentioned would be incredible partners. It's an embarrassment of riches. And unlike what's happening with the Trump campaign, I assure you Vice President Harris won't consider dropping her running mate once that person is named.
Keisha Lance Bottoms, from a very loud arena, you have doggedly and quite well gone through the process of talking and listening and being distracted all at the same time. We thank you very much for your time.